The Jeremy Kyle show has been taken off air following the suicide of a guest on the show. I want to make clear, in no way am I making light of that. It is an utter tragedy. But I do wonder, what did anyone who ever went on the Jeremy Kyle show hope to gain from it? If you're unfamiliar with the programme, it was a cross between the Jerry Springer show and The Walking Dead. Pure car crash television aimed squarely at Britain's unemployed. It went out on weekdays just after the kids had gone to school, and I believe its sole purpose was so that Britain's unemployed dole-scrounging druggies had someone to look down on. The disputes on the show were usually sexual in nature: who's been shagging who, some guy had been knocking off his best mate's wife, or granddad's been fucking the family pet. But whenever I watched this programme, I was never thinking, oh, I wonder who the father is. No, I'd be thinking, why the hell do these people want to mate with each other? Because they were all hideous. Guests on the Jeremy Kyle show usually had more tattoos than teeth, the type of people who keep warm by burning tyres in their living room. Then there was the host himself, Jeremy. He was easy to spot. He was the only guy on the show who ever wore a suit, and his entire role seemed to be to bully and goad his guests into making more and more ridiculous arguments. He came across as a tosser. So what did people expect to gain from going on this programme? To go on national television so that everyone in Britain would know that you've got genital warts and you got shouted at by a wanker in a suit. Now, the Jeremy Kyle show came under the umbrella of reality TV, and I despise reality TV, apart from a few early examples. Back in the early 90s on MTV there was a show called The Real World, and that featured a group of strangers living together in an apartment, and it was interesting, in the same way that the first series of Big Brother was a social experiment. But it soon became clear that people could get on television with no discernible talent, so reality TV descended into a televisual freak show. And almost everyone who's been on reality TV is an utter twat. Jeremy Kyle featured a load of unemployed twats. Big Brother had talentless twats, and then there are shows like Made in Chelsea and Keeping Up the Kardashians, which feature rich twats. In fact, there was a show on last year, I think, don't quote me on it, I think it was called Celebrity Love Island. People were raving about it. I watched 10 minutes of that show, and no word of a lie, I then went online to look at guns, because I was fairly certain if I went and off that lot, any reasonable judge would let me off with justifiable homicide. But what's to be done about reality TV? Well, I've come up with a plan. We need to advertise for a new reality TV show, and the first 1,000 people that apply, who will be the most desperate to get on telly, we accept all of them. And this TV show will be set on an island off the coast of Scotland, somewhere very remote, uninhabited. So we get a ferry, we put all 1,000 people on the ferry, take them to the island, and once we drop them off, we just fucking leave them there. And don't go back for a year. No food or water left for them. When we then get back, most of them will be dead. A lot of them will have topped themselves the second they realised they couldn't post to Instagram. But I reckon within a year, it will have descended into Lord of the Flies. And it'd be fine to ask these people, is this like Lord of the Flies? They wouldn't know. No one on reality TV has ever read a fucking book. But there's one last reality TV show I cannot get my head around. It's on Channel 4 and it's called Gogglebox. And it features people watching the television. So if you are watching this show, be aware you are watching the television to watch people watch television. Why not save on some electricity and put a fucking mirror in front of your telly?